Have you ever wished all your debts would just magically disappear? That a knight clad in shadows of the dark would rescue you and your family home? If you were a struggling farm owner in the 1920s or 30s, you might have just had that wish granted. Charles Arthur Floyd, or more commonly known as Pretty Boy Floyd, was a villain to some and an anti-hero to many. Born on February 3, 1904 near Addersville in Bartow County, Georgia, Floyd was born into a poor family of 6 kids, raised on a generational farm swarmed by debts. He took up jobs at young ages, but to no avail getting anywhere. Frustrated 14-year-old Charles ran away from Georgia in 1911 to Sequoia County in eastern Oklahoma, near the Arkansas border. Throughout his time there, Floyd made many close friends, notable ones being Adam Rachetti, keep this guy in mind, and Ruby Hargrave, whom he'd eventually marry in 1924 at the age of 16. With a new wife and son, yes, he had a son at 16, he attempted to find work to sustain his new farm life. Desperate to keep his family fed, he traded 5 gallons of corn whiskey for a pearl-handled pistol and robbed a post office, netting $350 in pennies. For those who don't understand the gravity of how much that is, let me explain in Minecraft terms. Let's say a penny is 1 copper ingot. 1 ingot is 3.11 grams, and to get $350 worth of copper blocks, you need 35,000 ingots. So that's 108,850 grams, or approximately 240 pounds, and 20 shulker boxes full of stacks of ingots. However, his crime was sloppy, so he got caught and served 5 years in the Missouri State Penitentiary. Or had to be bailed out by his father. Multiple sources tell different stories. On January 4th, 1929, Ruby Floyd, previously Ruby Hargrave, filed for divorce, charging her incarcerated husband with neglect. But Charles Floyd was not a man to give up. This poorly executed heist was a catalyst for his life of crime, stirring him to go through with many robberies and bootlegging to pay off the mortgage of his farmland. Floyd robbed multiple trains and banks, where he'd burn mortgage contracts as an act of revenge for the life he grew up in. He would also use his ill-gotten money to buy food and distribute it to the members of the community. In return, they protected him, became his communication system, fed him, and welcomed him into their homes when he stopped in for a sudden visit. However, he wasn't the perfect pacifist Robin Hood. On June 17, 1933, Floyd and Adam Rachetti, remember him, drove to a train station in Kansas City, Missouri to try and free a federal prisoner. As local officers transferred the prisoner to their vehicle, the gunmen drew their weapons, killing 4 officers and an FBI agent. This act of violence led to the investigation of Floyd and other assailants. On October 20th, 1934, Floyd and some friends were driving when Floyd crashed their car into a telephone pole. The crash started a small circle for the police to search for Floyd, finding him 2 days later and shooting him. That fateful day, on October 22, 1934, in East Liverpool, Ohio, Charles Arthur Floyd died, leaving the cops with his final line, "I'm done for. You've hit me twice." But Charles was not a man to... I can't read that. Where are my glasses at? Okay, pause. Well, if you were a struggling drove to a strain? Yeah, oh my god! Anyways, thank you so much for watching my video on Charles Floyd, Pretty Boy Floyd. I'll leave you with one final question. Do you think that Charles was friend or foe? I personally really liked him, but let me know what you think. Here are my final sources. Just for some evidence, I did research this, trust.